What's up everybody, Brian Tong here, and coming up right next to me, this is the VinFast VF8 for 2024. Now, I have never driven this car before. I got to spend about a week with it, and VinFast, they sponsored this video to let me experience it, talk about, my first time with it and how I felt, and just check out this new car. But look, inside the industry, there's been a whole lot of talk around this Vietnamese car maker and their entry into the US market in 2023. And let's be honest here, you can go online, you can check out the reviews, the first impressions of the 2023 model. They left a lot to be desired, from everything from the interior, some of the fit and finish, even the driving and handling. But I gotta say, to their credit, VinFast listened and they made the changes that they needed to. This may look a lot like the 2023 model, but this isn't inside. They've really addressed a lot of the shortcomings that people complained about. All right, let's just give you a little bit of history about Vingroup, because they are one of the largest conglomerates in Vietnam. So they're responsible for businesses in technology, real estate, healthcare. They have theme parks, they have store, everything you can think of, they're integrated into the culture for the Vietnamese people. Now, in 2017, they opened the VinFast Group, which is their electric vehicle branch, and that involves everything from EV cars, motorcycles, and commercial vehicles. Now, VinFast, they launched in the US in 2023, and it's called the VF8 because there's a variety of other cars over in Vietnam with different numbers. The VF8 is here for the US. They also have the VF9, which is going to be a 3-row SUV, and their goal is really to target this highly affordable but luxury vehicles and bring them here to the US. There are actually two VF8 models. There's the entry-level VF8 Eco model. That's going to start at $46,000. 350 horsepower and a 264-mile range. Then there's the VF8 Plus model. That's this guy right here. It starts at just under $52,000, 402 horsepower, and then 243 miles of range. But there are other perks here with the VF8 model. You have 20-inch tires versus 19 on the Eco. You have a fully opened sunroof and sunshade. You got heated and cooled seats. And then also on the back, on the Eco model, the tailgate rear, that's a manual pop-up, but here you can do it electronically. All right, so when you see a car, obviously the first thing is, what does it look like? We're gonna get inside, we're gonna show you the tech, we're gonna drive around it. But when I first saw this car, it kind of gave me some Mach-E vibe and energy, but VinFast, to style it a little differently, they have this light strip that comes down and forms a V for VinFast right on the hood. And as we move around, you'll see the design that I'm talking about. Over here, you got the 20-inch wheels. These are for the Plus model of the VF8. The Eco has 19-inch wheels. You'll have your charging door here. It's locked right now because I'm going to show you this little interesting quirk of this. You'll see this physical button here, and as long as I have the key fob with me, I have to press this once, and then I can pull and unlock the door. But what is different about this is all the other door handles do not have this physical button. So really, you're gonna most likely be hitting unlock. The reason why I point this out is because most EVs, you walk up to it, it detects you, you just pull the handle. This is a little different in how that works. So I'm gonna also show you inside here, just a little bit of the interior. Now, this is a vegan leather interior. I like this brown black contrast. The seats feel plush and nice and comfortable to sit in. They're heated and cooled on the Plus model. And then as we come around here, we're gonna show you a couple more things. This is obviously the rear and the tailgate. Again, you see the lighting here that forms a V to the VinFast. And then on the Plus model, this is a power tailgate, so I can just unlock it. It pops open here. And then on something like the standard Eco model, that's manual, but this comes right up. You got a lot of storage space. I could sit right here, and instead of being here, let's go take this thing for a drive. Okay, now another feature this car has is advanced driver assistance systems. And so this is a button right here. I'm gonna press it. You can hear that. And so this will identify the lanes, keep me in the lanes, and also keep the speed that I set it at. If there's a driver in front of me, it'll slow down, but I can even control the speed right now. So I'm just gonna let this take over. And we're going around a curve here. Now, this doesn't work obviously on every street or road, but we're here in Palos Verdes and just kind of seeing how this is. There's a car coming up here that's turning. It identifies that. We're going right past it, and we're still on a curve uphill. So it works pretty well just from that alone. I typically use this on the freeway more than anything in stop and go traffic, but I wanted to see how it actually works. But and show you that I've obviously driven this in a lot of different places, but I think overall, if you talk about the driving experience, not too tight like a sports car, not super loosey-goosey, somewhere just right in that sweet spot. It feels good. And again, kind of like I talked about, the tech feels appropriate in this car for a car this price, and as a crossover SUV, this also feels great when you're driving it as well. So I like that. I also have a Rivian R1T, so that has an air suspension. That's gonna be obviously a lot lighter and floatier here. This is a standard suspension, 2-motor, still feels very good. It's obviously not gonna be as light, but there's nothing here that tells me, from driving this that it's been a rough experience, so I'm enjoying it. All right, so now we are here inside. I wanna talk to you about all the technology that is packed inside here. It obviously is gonna start when you look at this car with its 15.6-inch touch display. This is their infotainment center and everything happens here. Now, this is the first time I've been in a VinFast car, so the UI and the interface is different, but it's pretty straightforward and I got used to it really quick. You have your apps here on the side. You have your important information like your weather, your music and media player. And then over here along the side, these are just logical settings that you want, whether it's your car light settings, adjusting the rear view mirrors, and you can use your controls here to move them up, down, left or right. You have steering wheel adjustment as well. Here, this is the heads-up display, so what I can do is I can actually, there's the projection of my speed and even my directions. I can change the brightness, the color, but that will rest right here. I mean, if I'm looking here, I can see it right there. And then also your sunroof controls that we have up here. This is the VF8 Plus model, so one of the differentiators is that it has a full-on sunroof that opens all the way. Now you also have, when I click on here, these are kind of your quick controls. And why this is important is you have some different modes here, like pet mode, camp mode, and valet mode. Now I'm gonna go into camp mode because I'm gonna show you a feature specific to this car and VinFast cars that is also gonna be coming out, but they have a partnership with Sony, and it's this app called Ride View. So I'm just gonna hit that right there. And Ride View is basically a partnership with Sony to get access to Sony movies, Columbia movies, TriStar movies, and you have them all here, built into the car. Now, why is this unique? I can set up, you do need to be in camp mode to watch content here, but it connects to up to 6 different devices. So I have something like my iPhone here, and I can actually choose to send any of these movies to different devices. So I'm driving, I'm not gonna be able to watch any movie, but the passenger can actually assign movies to different things. So I'm gonna go here to something like Ghostbusters Afterlife, and I'm gonna go to this option that says assign to screens. Now, when I do that, I should open up my iPhone here, and it takes a few moments, but what you'll end up seeing is that my iPhone will show up on here. It just says it right there, BTZ's iPhone. So I can select the screens I wanna manage. I'm gonna click on here, and I'm gonna play, and what this is gonna allow me to do now is it's going to send the movie to play on my device. So imagine 2 kids in the back with iPads. You can assign different movies to different people, again, up to 6 users. This announcement was made. VinFast is the first manufacturer to actually have this up and running. There will be others in the future, but they're the first automaker to have this whole Ride View platform. And we'll show you here, the movie is actually playing on my iPhone right now. So that's really sweet. Also, what's not common in all EV vehicles, this is compatible with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, There's a lot of Tesla people, a lot of Rivian people that wish they could get this. VinFast supports this, so I can get everything right. My maps, my phone, my messages, the apps that are compatible, you have that all here. And there's something comfortable and familiar about having CarPlay on your display that I think just makes it a lot more easier to jump into. So this car has it as well. You obviously have different adjustments for cool temperature for the AC, but also your chairs. I can take my finger here and I can slide it back left and right, whether I want my chair to be cooler or warmer. That's a feature, ventilated and heated seats specific to the VF8 Plus model, which we're sitting in here as well. But overall, you have a lot of different, standard apps here, key apps. So one app that maybe you want to dive into is the drive aids. I will say by default, this car has a lot of kind of, I don't want to say warnings, but alerts like, oh, you're going, your speed's too high, your lane, you're crossing over that line. There's a lot of different things that you want to toggle in here and change. But overall, the system really was easy to use, straightforward, and I think that's a good thing when you're talking about a car that is entering this market without maybe a lot of familiarity to the US, and it was straightforward and easy to use. So I think the tech here is great. You also look down here, something that's a little different is that instead of having the parking, the reverse, the neutral and the drive on the stock here, there's actual physical buttons that you can press to get in that mode. So that might take a little to get used to, but it's really easy. It's right there. You just hit them. And then when you talk about charging the technology, we have 2 USB-A ports for charging, and then also a wireless charging surface. Then on the back here, in the rear for guests in the second row, you'll have 2 USB-A and then also a USB-C 90-watt charger over there. So you have different spots that you can connect. And overall, though, the vehicle and the tech, it feels appropriate and it's right on par with what you expect. Now, while I was checking out the car, I got to also check out the VinFast e-bike. This is called the Dragonfly. I took it out to Redondo Beach. I played around on the walkway out there. I also got to ride it around in other places, but this thing has 63 miles of range, 28 miles per hour. This is an e-bike. It has this vintage styling and feeling, but you know, VinFast is more than just cars here in the US. They're also doing e-bikes. So after using this for over a week, I can comfortably say this is not your top tier, high-end, top-of-the-line crossover SUV, but it's also not at the bottom of the barrel either. You look at the design here, you think of all those concerns, all the concerns and complaints that people said about the 2023 model. I just didn't experience them here with the VinFast VF8, so that's a good thing. I think that this is a solid ride. I actually enjoyed this car more than I thought I would going into it. I didn't know what to expect, but I really did like it, and I think that VinFast has more than a capable EV here in 2024. Overall, this is a solid crossover SUV and points VinFast in the right direction moving forward here in the US.